Here for Outside the Booth for a special edition in LA. I'm here with Ahmad. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So, you just graduated from Stanford.
Yeah, I just graduated from Stanford, big ass.
Isn't it like crazy? Like really, like I just graduated too from St. John's over back in the East Coast, 6 hours away from here. But Stanford, tell me about that. I remember you were telling me before that you were one of 20 City College graduates to get in.
Well, not City College. They had 20 transfer students that they allowed in out of 1,200 applicants the year that I applied. And you had people applying from Oxford, from Yale, and then one kid from Long Beach City College. And out of 1,200, they let 20 in, and I was one of the 20.
You were valedictorian at Long Beach City College. What was your speech like?
I was valedictorian. I don't know how to speak. I think my mom cried at the speech, and that was most important to me, to honor her, because I saw her work a full-time job and go to school, raising 3 kids on her own. And so she's really my shero and my inspiration, and kind of reminded me that it's never too late to go back to school and pursue other things and round yourself out,
So you were previously signed to Interscope.
No doubt.
Let's say about 8 years ago or so.
Yeah, maybe. It's been a while. I had a band, 4th Avenue Jones, after Back in the Day blew up and all that. I was burnt out, because that came out when I was 17, and it went gold when I was 18. I'm touring the world, and I just wasn't ready for it. I didn't even know who I was, and I'm out there I don't know, I just felt overwhelmed, and so I took a step back and regrouped with a group, a full-fledged band, and we went out. We got signed to Interscope. It was we called it hip rock soul, so we combined hip hop, rock, soul music, and did really well, but we didn't blow up like I wanted to, and I got frustrated with that. But we toured everywhere, we had fans everywhere, and that kind of fell apart right before I decided to go back to school. Yeah, when my band disbanded, I said, you know what, I need to do something different. All I know is music.
And now, about I heard you talk about you wrote a script. You're working on a film.
Yeah, almost finished with the film.
What's the film about?
The film is called, and it's a film and an EP project. It's called Good Meat Makes Gravy. Because my mom used to always say, boy, a good meat'll make its own gravy, right? And that means, basically that what it is what it'll be. And I said, you know what, that's interesting. The cream does rise to the top. So if I'm cut out for this, then it'll show and prove itself somewhere along the line. And I said, I'm going to make a film about that, and an album basically saying, if I am who I say I am or who I think I am, then y'all are going to respond to this project. And so instead of doing a traditional video, I wrote a script, hired actors, tried to actually find someone to direct it for me, couldn't, and then just figured out that I was well suited to do it myself, and just decided to take the leap. I always wanted to direct, always loved film and photography, and just made my own short film. We just jumped in.
Can you give me the premise for the film that will really make the viewer want to watch it?
Well, it's basically the story of a cat. He's living with his girl. She has way more money than he does. He's a struggling artist trying to make it. She's frustrated with him because he's always saying, this is the one, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And she's pretty much a bitch anyway, right? And so he feels like, what am I gonna do if I lose her? How am I gonna make my art? And so he comes to a crossroads. She's treating him so poorly that he's either gonna take the lunge and take that leap and really go after his dreams, or stay there and kind of be a second-class citizen. So he finds out, they go to the studio together, he finds out that she cheats on him with one of the cats at the studio that he knows. Hears her on the phone, they get into it, he leaves, is sitting in Hollywood. This guy comes up to him, hands him a flyer. It's for a competition that night to win a recording contract. He goes to the recording contract audition, and who's in line waiting? His girl and the other dude. He found out about it too, right? And so, a bunch of...
Then it goes from there.
They have obviously a conflict of interest. And You know, y'all have to watch and see the rest. But it's crazy. It's funny. Like, I'm a comedian. You know, I like to make people laugh. And but it's also a drama, and it's real. It's about making your dreams come true against all odds. You know. Yeah.
So before I brought up an analogy about the shot boxer, and for anyone that doesn't know what the shot boxer is, it's really an idea when a boxer takes a huge beating in the ring, it's really tough for him to go back in the ring and fight with the same that carelessness to get hurt, but they're afraid of taking that same beating again. You that has tasted blowing up, how is it going back into the industry that you were once so frustrated with?
Well, you know, being in 4th Avenue Jones, I had my son with me. We're touring. He was 1. I remember specifically right before the band disbanded. We're in like Minnesota. It was snowing, winter time. My son was 1. He got sick. So he's sick, but we still have to perform. People in the band bitching, and you know, and I had to hold it all together because I wrote the songs. You know, I was like the guy in the band, and I was just like, I'm tired, man. Like, you know, I don't want to do this, but that's all. Like, it's scary when that's all you know. Like I said, I started at 17 just making records. A lot of people can go intern and kind of learn a profession, and as they get older, they have something to fall back on. When you've devoted your life to music and art, you don't have that same privilege, you know? You get paid well when it's paying well, but when it stops, you know, you're in a pickle. And so it took a lot of courage for me to go back to school because I cut off my income and had to live off money that I had made touring and all that. But I love it, man. I love kind of living on the edge. I love being an entrepreneur, like putting my nuts on the table, like, you know.
To say it simply.
Yeah, and coming back, like, all or nothing. I'll bet it again. Like, I bet on me every time. Like, if you believe that you're put on earth to do a certain thing, then that's the thing you should do. Like, I was in Stanford, and I was gonna be a lawyer or something. And I was in a class, and a professor said, if you don't love it, you'll never be great at it. And just that one line, I was like, I'm going back in, you know, because I didn't even mention when I stopped listening to music. I stopped watching television, like, for 2 years. And I called it repairing my imagination. And I just wanted to kind of really center myself and say, is this what you're going to do? And if it is, then do it like you mean it. And that's what Good Meat Makes Gravy is. It's my boy Shane Eli, who I think you're going to be interviewing a little later. He produced a song called Thankful, which is out of here. And then another song, my boy Goon Rock, who produced Party Rock Anthem and Sexy and I Know It for LMFAO. He produced that one. And I call my new sound Beautiful Soul for the People. Because it's beautiful, very melodic. It's definitely soul. I was raised in church. And it's for the people. If I'm not adding value, then I'm not doing it, you know.
Thank you. I want to thank you so much for enlightening me to so many things right now, repairing your imagination, really coming out of a time when you did it and then doing it again. And going to Stanford and graduating. That's really fantastic. Congratulations on your graduation. Jacques Morels, Outside the Booth in LA. Ahmad, can you actually tell them where they can get your next project and where they can watch the film?
It's coming out this summer. We're editing right now. Really, my Facebook and my Twitter. They're both.
What are your Facebook and your Twitter?
Ahmad We Clap, like Facebook.com/Ahmad AHMAD We Clap, like we clap our hands, which is an acronym for my company. We change lives, attitudes, and perceptions. And then Twitter, Ahmad We Clap, @Ahmad We Clap.
Okay, so make sure you check out those, Ahmad We Clap, and Jacques Morels once again. Ahmad, Outside the Booth. We're gonna be back, like, shortly.